Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I have a parcel. This is a 2018 MacBook Pro from eBay. I think this cost me about 230 quid. Now, you may, if you've watched my videos before, you may have seen my video quite a few years ago with this. This is my 2015 MacBook Air. It's honestly got nothing wrong with it. I only got the 128 gig storage, so I upgraded that to 256. Have debated changing the battery, but the main reason I wanted a new one, this, for what I use a laptop for, it's powerful enough for me. Does everything I need fine. It's just this is 13-inch screen. I'd like a bigger screen, and also because it's an Air, it's not a Retina screen, so it doesn't look as nice as the Retina model. So this is 2018 one. It'll have the Touch Bar, Touch ID. Both features I'm not really too fussed about, but yeah, I think it was a pretty good price. Now I'm going to have people say I should have got an M1 laptop or something stupid like that, or an M2, but honestly, these Macs are fine. And since the M series of laptops came out, the Intel ones really went down in price, and it's the only reason I buy MacBooks. Because before, you know, you could get a Windows laptop of the same spec for much cheaper than a MacBook, but now that the M series has come out, the Intel MacBooks are the same price, if not less, than the same sort of spec Windows laptop, so they're actually more worth buying. Had to rip the box open because they used to use some really strong double-sided tape. What the fuck? I have never seen anything packaged like this. So I'll get my 6 British eggs out the way. Bit of Amazon packaging. Hopefully the laptop's fine. They sent it through though they've used Amazon packaging with their address on it. They could have at least taken their address off. It looks fine. It's cold because I wasn't here when it got delivered, but yeah, that is a decent size difference. So if I put my MacBook on top, as you can see, it doesn't look much bigger, but my 2015 MacBook has quite big bezels on it, whereas this, I think they're going to be really thin. Oh, them speakers are good. The trackpad is really big, so example on this. Mine's running Windows, as for some college work I needed Visual Studio Code. It's dual booted, so I can switch it back to macOS. Yeah, look at the trackpad on here. That is not enough. This is more than enough. Oh, and you see we've got the buttons here. That I think is going to get on my nerves, especially the escape one, because I see you do all the functions through that. On my current MacBook, have all the buttons here, so I can switch it real quick. And it's on the setup screen. So as you see, the bezels are much thinner. So if I give you an overall around of the MacBook, the lid is in pretty good condition. There's a dent on the corner here. Not really anything there. Yeah, there's some wear there and there. So all USB-C. This would have been much nicer when I was on Android, because it means I could use the charger from my phone, whereas now I switch back to iPhone, I use a 14 Pro Max, so still on Lightning. I'm one generation away from having USB-C. But anyway, yeah, we'll set this up. But also in the box we have the charger, which is unfortunately not a genuine one. Hopefully it's fine. I assume this is a genuine Type-C cable. I may buy, probably not an Apple plug, because they're really expensive and quite big. I'll probably buy like an Anker one. I'm not sure what wattage plug these would have came with, but yeah.
macOS contains a built-in screen.
I know when they switched to only Type-C, people were angry because it means you need dongles. Not being funny, I need dongles for this. So it's got USB ports, only 2, which means if you want to plug a mouse and keyboard in and something else, you need a USB hub. And it only has mini display port. So if I want to plug it into a monitor or TV or something, I need an adapter. And all that adapter does is the HDMI. So for this, I need one dongle, which will give me the USB ports and a HDMI port. So, and if I buy a better one, I could have Ethernet as well. The only thing I really think I'm missing ports wise is the SD card reader, which I rarely use anyway. I believe this is stuck on macOS Monterey, or I don't think I'm saying that right. This will have a more up-to-date version of macOS. Now, one thing I will probably miss is the MagSafe. Obviously, I know they brought that back on the newer MacBooks. However, mine does not have it, which I know can wear out the ports, but you've got 4 USB-C ports, so you're probably fine. Yeah, we won't bother. We'll start from fresh on this. So I've got to make my account. It's made it a golf ball. Camera. Oh yeah, we'll take a photo. See this great quality. That's brilliant. Do my password. So signed into iCloud. We'll say yes. Touch ID. Yeah. We'll see how. Oh, don't press it. Just hold. Right. Touch ID is ready. Welcome to Mac. So yeah, this is the old one. You know, it's got quite a few things on it, to be fair. But yeah, this is why I switched to Windows. I couldn't. Apparently, you can get it on Mac, but I seemed to understand you couldn't, or maybe not on this Mac OS version. But I needed Visual Studio Code, and I couldn't get it, so I had this brackets, which just was not as good. So I just dual booted it with Windows, and for what I use a lot at the time, I had Android, so I didn't care for Mac OS anyway. But because I needed Visual Studio, I had to have Windows on it, and for what I use it for, Windows was fine, so I just sort of kept it like that. But I've put it back on there now. So from what I understand is you can actually install, oh, there's a plane. Apparently you can actually install Visual Studio Code on a MacBook. I had Visual Studio, but this laptop did not like it. But yeah, see, it's a 13-inch, early 2015, 1.6 Core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, Intel graphics, but I upgraded the storage. But this MacBook, I can show you now. 15-inch, 2018, 2.6 gigahertz, 6 Core i7, Intel graphics, whatever. 16 gigs of RAM on this one. And it's 500 gigabytes of storage. So this is capped at Monterey. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And this is on Sequita. Still don't know if I'm saying that right either. But yeah, see, the only real damage is this little dent in the corner, which that doesn't fuss me. So how's this work? Right, so that does the volume. Oh, there's nothing playing. Oh, that opens up Apple Music, which I don't use. So I will say it probably will be a bit annoying not having USB ports, but you know, that's just part of the future, isn't it? What's this? iPhone mirroring. Oh, I've seen people do this. My MacBook was too old. So for some reason the iPhone mirroring, even though it shows a phone with a dynamic island, it's choosing to use my iPhone 13, which I'm recording on, instead of connect to my 14 Pro Max, which is the phone I actually use. But either way, it seems I'm going to have to get used to this, because to show all my apps on my old MacBook, I'd click this button here. What is that? What am I looking at? Yeah, how do I do that? Is that a different button? Am I just? It's got Oh, right. That's how you get the FN buttons. Right. Okay, that makes sense. What's this do? Oh, right. Got you. Why doesn't that, instead of it being blank, why doesn't this stay out? That doesn't make sense. So I've changed the keyboard backlight. Yeah, I'm really going to have to get used to the touch bar. Right, so you've got to put that out and then... Right, I am understanding. The screen, I've got to say, is really nice. Like, this one's not bad. It's just you really have to look at it, like, straight on. If you go to the side of it, on camera it doesn't look too bad. But it's more like if it's a bit... And it's just not big enough. It doesn't go bright enough for my personal liking. See, that's full brightness, and you compare it to that one. This one's much brighter, and I assume this is full brightness. No, it wasn't. This was already brighter, and it was not the full brightness. But yeah, annoyingly, this has arrived on a day where I've got work at 6. It is 4:42, so I'm gonna have to take some time to get used to it, and I can't use it today, which is really irritating because I really want to use it today. But yeah, I'll come back to you when I've used it for a bit. So, I got this laptop in January. It's now July. So I've had a good amount of time to get used to it. So I've just finished editing the first portion of this video. And I've got to say, I've really enjoyed this. I do not regret buying it at all. It is definitely one of the best things I've bought. So I have finished college now, but after I got that, I used it through the rest of college. It's very useful. I like the size, so compared, this is quite a bit bigger than my old laptop, and this is much nicer. Now, one thing that kind of makes me regret buying it, that I didn't know at the time, I think I found this out last month, when Apple has released all the new softwares, is that the macOS Tahoe, I think is how you say it, is the last update for Intel Macs. So even like the Intel Mac newer than this, the 2019 one, they'll be capped at the same one. So I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not going to buy a new laptop over it. Like, it might be irritating, but then at the same time, my other MacBook was stuck on Monterey, which is quite a few years older, and that never really bothered me on that laptop. So I don't see why this should bother me here. As long as it continues, like all the applications continue to support it, then yeah. And then when it gets to the point where they don't support this laptop anymore, I have two choices. Either get a new laptop or run Windows on it. Because they can still do that. And obviously the Windows holds up support for their older laptops for like a lot longer. Like, you could install Windows 11 on like a 2007 laptop with enough workarounds. But yeah, so that's a bit irritating, but it should be alright. And I know people might say, oh yeah, you can do OpenCore, but I don't think OpenCore will be a thing once they stop releasing for Intel Macs, because there won't be an Intel optimized version of the macOS to go off of. So that probably also puts Hackintosh to an end. But yeah, this should be alright. Because now I'm at college less. Now I'm not at college. I don't use it as much anyway. But this is it's completely replaced my PC. I barely use my PC anymore. But that's the reason I don't think that this being not on the latest version of macOS or not being the most powerful one, it won't bother me because I use it mostly like a Chromebook. The most powerful thing I do on this is edit YouTube videos, which some of them are in 4K, but not a lot of them. Most of them 1080. It depends how I've decided to film it. But I could do that on my phone. So like, there's no reason that this shouldn't be able to do that still, and it can do it just fine. Apart from that, I just use Chrome basically. Now I'm back on iPhone, back on macOS, back on iPad. The ecosystem is very nice, so my notifications come through on here. I do the iPhone mirroring, which isn't really that useful. The notes, that's really nice actually. That's quite useful. And iMessage is quite nice to have on here. So yeah, this is definitely a good purchase. Maybe I should have spent a bit more and got like an M1. I think at the time if I knew back in January when I got this that I'd only get one update before it's not supported anymore, then I maybe would have bought an M1 MacBook. But it's too late for that now. I don't feel like, because I could still sell this, but I assume because that's been announced, the value of this has probably actually dropped. But I don't feel like doing that. I'll just use this until it bothers me. Like, probably until applications stop getting supported. But when it comes down to it, it doesn't really matter that much. So my old MacBook still gets used. I gave that to my girlfriend. So that, obviously that's not up to date. And she, again, is even more, like, she uses it for less powerful stuff than I would. She literally uses it for Chrome and Word. So as long as both of those things work, then that MacBook's fine for her. And as long as I can continue to use mine for Chrome, YouTube video editing, this is fine for me. And if I ever want to do anything more powerful, I'll have to get a new one. And then even when I do get a new one, as long as Chrome and Word work, then when I do get a new laptop, as long as Chrome and Word still work fine on this one, then this laptop will be good enough for her. But yeah, the speakers are really nice. And one thing I complained about was the touch bar. I actually don't mind it. It's completely fine. It doesn't bother me at all. Actually kind of sad they got rid of it. But one thing I complained about was getting to the launch pad, because I thought you had to go like that and then go like that. But I think I could have done this on my old MacBook, but I've soon realised that you could just go like that and it comes up, which is actually much easier than clicking the button anyway. And one of my favourite features is the Touch ID. Very nice. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys come back for the next one. Bye.